I think all of us understand and agree that technology has done a lot to make our lives easier and more efficient. After only 1 decade, smartphones have become such a staple item in our society that it's difficult for us to imagine normal life without them. Old school cell phones can call, they can text, but today's smartphones not only call, they not only text, they give you email, you can video call, video conference, you can be connected to the internet, you can be on social networking like Twitter, Facebook, and others. They can provide directions through GPS, they take pictures, they play music. There's thousands and thousands of apps that are continuing to grow on a daily basis. Once, only a few years ago, and I lived in those years, you needed to carry a bag to carry all the devices that you needed for your business activities. Today, your smartphone and my smartphone has it all in one little device. So nobody here is going to deny the value of what smartphones have added to our lives. The question that's becoming more and more common, that I personally get asked very often, and it's becoming more often as the days pass, is when it comes to children owning smartphones. I've seen in recent publications some unbelievable numbers. I believe this study was done in the United Kingdom, in Britain, but I don't believe the numbers are very different in the United States. That 56% of children between the ages of 10 and 13 own a smartphone. That may not come as a shock to you, but the next one might. That an estimated 25% of children between the ages of 2 and 5 own a smartphone. That's right. Between 2 and 5. They're in diapers with a smartphone. It should come as no surprise that smartphones and tablets have now replaced basketballs and baby dolls on a child's wish list. Elementary school age children start asking, or let's say begging, for these forms of technology before they can even tie their own shoes. As parents, we need to be educated about the impact that these devices can have on our children and their growth. Is my son or daughter mature enough for a smartphone? Is becoming a more relevant question. Many parents are struggling with this decision. So I ask you, how do we make such a decision? I'm sure people in this room have had to make that decision. How do you make a decision like that? What goes through our minds? Probably most of us ask, who else has it? Does anyone else in the class get it? Who doesn't have it? And by the way, how did they make the decision? Whoever got it first. What were they thinking? Or maybe it's based on how much my child is whining or crying or annoying me to the point where I have no more kawah, no more strength. I think most decisions for people like ourselves are based on such a mindset. I think, like every important decision that we make in life for our children, we need to look into the matter and educate ourselves. We need to see the positives and the negatives. We need to weigh the pros and cons. We need to be aware of the possible risks involved. And only then can we make an educated, responsible decision. Being that this issue is relatively new, clear standards have not been set by society. Not necessarily that we should always align ourselves with society's standards. But in this case, even if we were to look for the standards, we wouldn't find them. We are completely left in the dark to make major decisions for our children without having any information. And it's all guesswork. We are the first generation of parents in the age of smartphones. And it is our obligation to learn how to be parents of this new generation. I think as parents, we are not afraid to take charge. I think we are not afraid to enforce appropriate rules, as long as we know what they are. We would not allow our children to drive a car before they are mature and ready, no matter how much they beg. We would not allow a child to cross a street by themselves, even if it means we have to inconvenience ourselves and walk him across the street. As parents, we do take charge, and we do make appropriate decisions, because we care very much about our children. My goal tonight is to bring light and clarity to this very pressing and important issue that we are all faced with, if not now, very soon. Clarity, when a person is clear, clarity is comforting and empowering. With clarity, we become comfortable with our awareness of the issue. And we become empowered to act in a manner that will bring our desired results. I'm going to do my best for the next few minutes in an organized way to list some of the things that we should be aware of when we make such a decision. Because only with that information will we be able to understand the issues. It is important to know that smartphones could become a source of addiction. Not just addiction for the phone itself, which is itself not such a good thing, but it could help develop addictive personalities, which can lead to other addictions. Sexually explicit messaging via text or email, including the sending and receiving of immodest or explicit personal photos. Behaviors that people would not engage in real life, but would through a smartphone. online activities that are terrible and can become addictive, such as pornography. Such early exposure to pornography has been proven to have an impact, a very negative impact, long-term for a child, especially on intimacy and marital relationships. Smartphones give a child the ability to post with impulse, to post things that one day he will regret or she will regret. It's hard for a young person to appreciate the long-term effect of a push of a button. It's been proven through studies that spending too much time on smartphones can cause emotional and social problems. Cyberbullying. You ever hear of that term? Cyberbullying? You've heard of bullying before. Bullying basically is when a person abuses their power to harm another person. So what is cyberbullying? So it's just that you do it through a smartphone or through the internet. Okay, so bullying has been around for probably thousands of years. So now there's another way to do it. What's the big deal? But through a smartphone, bullying takes on a whole new level that is not at all similar to what's happened before. Why do you ask? What's the difference if I bully through a phone? Well, number one, the amount of cruelty, the level of cruelty that a person will be able to do with his phone is much more than he would do in person. A, he can hide behind the screen name. You'll never know who he is. Or even if he's not hiding, but the fact that he's not physically with someone gives him that fearless attitude that what's going to happen? It's all fine. So you'll have people using words through text that they would never say in person. Besides, the far-reaching effect of cyberbullying is much worse than regular bullying. A regular bully could bully you in class. 5 people heard it. 6 people heard it. 10 people heard it. But here you have access that's unlimited. With one push of a button, thousands of people already heard about your story. Lives have been destroyed. I've been personally involved with a number of cases over the last few months of people's lives that have been literally destroyed because someone took a picture or someone shared something that he shouldn't have. And it went viral. Everyone has it. That never happened before. The most that could have happened is a few people heard. They forgot about it. It's permanent damage. Not like before. I don't remember everything that someone said to me or said about me. But when it's in digital form, it just stays there for people to watch and people to share. That picture never goes away. You don't know who has it. You don't know who's sharing it. You don't know when it will come up again. That doubt, that feeling can live with a person for the rest of their life. And he never knows when it will come back to haunt them. In regular bullying, you can have intervention. You go to the yard, the kid yells at another kid, or he pushes him. So you have adults, they're watching. You have kids. Human nature is to have compassion when you see someone getting hurt. So someone steps in. You can't watch someone being yelled at and just do nothing. So people step in, they try to help the person getting hurt. They'll talk to them afterwards. Maybe they'll say a word to the other person. Maybe they'll make a joke out of it. Oh, come on, it's no big deal. Something. There's human intervention, either by children or